Everyone, happy Tuesday. Today we're going to keep reading Ghost Town at sundown and figure out what noise Jack and Annie were hearing. We're going to read chapters 3 and chapter 4. Once you're done watching this video, you'll go to the writing video to see what you're writing about today. Chapter 3, Player Piano. Outside, the sad tune played on. "It's coming from there," said Annie. She crept towards a building that had a sign with the word hotel on it. Jack limped after her. Annie slowly pushed open a swinging door. They peeked inside. The fading daylight lit a piano in the corner of a room. The keys were moving up and down, but no one was there. "Yikes!" whispered Annie. "A ghost is playing that piano." Suddenly, the keys were still. The air got cold. "No, no way," said Jack. "There's no such thing as ghosts." "But we saw one in ancient Egypt," whispered Annie. "Yeah, but that was ancient Egypt," said Jack. Even so, his heart was racing. "I'll look it up." Jack pulled out the Wild West book. He found a picture of a piano. He read aloud. Player pianos were popular in the Old West. The piano played automatically when someone pumped its floor pedals. Later, with the help of electricity, the piano played all by itself. "Whew!" Jack said as he closed the book. "I knew there was an answer," he said. "It must be electric, and somehow it came on." "I didn't know they had electricity in the Wild West," said Annie. "They didn't," said Jack. He looked at Annie. "Oh, man, let's get out of here," he said. Jack and Annie backed out of the hotel. When they got outside, they heard another sound. Horse hooves thumping against the hard ground. A cloud of dust seemed to be moving towards the town. As they got closer, Jack saw 3 horses. They were herding a small band of horses. "Hide," said Jack. "Where?" said Annie. Jack looked around wildly. He saw 2 barrels outside the hotel. "There," he said. Jack and Annie hurried to the empty barrels. Jack climbed inside one and tried to scrunch down. His hat wouldn't fit. He jumped out of the barrel and threw his hat into the hotel. "Mine too," said Annie. Jack grabbed hers and threw it. Then he scrambled back into the barrel. Just in time. Jack heard the horses thunder into town. He peeked through the crack in the barrel and saw a blur of cowboys and horses go by. "Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!" the men shouted. Jack heard the horses come to a halt. A halt means a stop. They stamped and snorted. All he could see were the shadows through the crack. Dust covered Jack. He had to sneeze, so he pinched his nose. "The creek bed must have dried up," a cowboy yelled. "This town's a ghost." "Yup, it gives me the shivers," said another. "Let's camp over the rise." Jack really had to sneeze. He pinched his nose even tighter. He couldn't stop the sneeze, and he let out a big achoo. "What was that?" someone said. Just then, a loud whiny split the air. Jack saw the beautiful horse rear up. She had no rider or saddle, just a rope around her neck. She was as red as the sunset. She had a wild black mane with white stars above her eyes. "We can't keep fighting this one, boss," a cowboy yelled. "Yup, she wants her colt," another said. "We shouldn't have left him behind." "He was too slow," a growly voice said. "We'll sell her when we cross the border." That's terrible, thought Jack. He knew Annie must have been upset too. So the reason why Annie's upset, you guys, is because this horse right here with the star on its forehead, it's a wild horse. And the cowboys took her baby or her calf. So she's really mad at them and trying to get them. Jack hoped that she wouldn't jump out of her barrel. But the cowboys pulled the red horse away. The ground rang from the pounding of the hooves as they galloped off. Jack and Annie stood up. They watched the riders disappear into the dust. The pounding faded away. All was quiet again, except for the lazy buzzing of flies. They were mean to the horse, Annie said in a low, angry voice. I know, but there was nothing we could do, said Jack. His boots were killing him. He climbed out of the barrel. Man, I have to get these off, he said. Jack sat down on the porch of the hotel. He grabbed the foot of one of the boots and pulled. Jack, said Annie, I think there is something we can do. What? Jack looked up. A small horse was running down the road. He was as red as the wild mother horse, and he had the same black mane and the same white star above his eyes. The rope was around his neck, and he looked very lost. It's the colt, said Annie. He's looking for his mom. She ran towards the wild-eyed horse. Wait, called Jack. Oh, brother. He pulled the book out of his backpack. He opened it up and found the chapter titled Horses of the Wild West. He started reading. At the end of the 1800s, over 1,000,000 wild horses called mustangs wandered the West. These tough, fast horses were descendants of runaway Spanish horses. Mustang herders captured them and sold them to ranchers. Breaking a wild Mustang took great skill. Jack turned the page. There was a picture of a herd of horses. Two of them looked like the beautiful mare and her colt. Hey, Annie, Jack called. You should see this picture. Annie didn't answer. Jack looked up. Annie was trying to get close to the young Mustang, but he kept darting away. Watch it! He's wild, said Jack. Annie was speaking softly to the colt. She slowly reached out and grabbed the end of the rope. Still talking to him, she led him to a wooden post. Stop! Don't do anything, said Jack. He flipped the pages in his book and found the section called How to Treat a Horse. The basic rules on how to treat a horse are simple. Have a soft hand, a firm voice, a sunny attitude, praise, and reward. I've got the rules, shouted Jack. Don't do anything before I write them down. Jack pulled out his notebook and his pencil and he wrote, Horse rules. 1. Soft hand. 2. Firm voice. 3. Sunny attitude. 4. Praise. 5. Reward. Okay, listen, Jack looked up. But Annie was already sitting on the colt's back. Jack froze. He held his breath. The Mustang whined and pawed the ground. He snorted and tossed his head. Annie kept patting his neck and talking softly. Finally, the young horse grew still. Annie smiled at Jack. I named him Sunset, she said. Jack let out a breath. Let's go, said Annie. We have to take him to his mom. Are you nuts? Said Jack. We have to solve a riddle. It'll be dark soon, and those guys were real bad guys. I could tell. We don't have any choice, said Annie. Oh, brother. Jack knew she wouldn't change her mind. Let's see what the book said. He read more about mustangs. Wild mustangs live together in families. The bond between a mare and her young is very strong. His sounds of distress or hunger will bring her to him. A mustang cannot bear to wander alone. Jack groaned. He looked at the sunset. The young mustang did have a sad look in his eyes. Okay, we'll make a plan, he said. But first, I have to get out of these boots. Jack grabbed one of his boots and pulled. Hurry, said Annie. I can't even think in these things, said Jack. He huffed and puffed and pulled. Then a deep voice stopped him in cold. Hands up, or I'll shoot. Jack let go of his boots, and he put his hands in the air. So did Annie. A cowboy rode out of the alley. His face was bony and tanned. He was riding a gray horse and pointing a 6-shooter at them. I reckon you're the smallest horse thieves I've ever seen. Uh-oh, he thinks they're stealing horses. All right, friends, that's the end of that chapter. I want you to go to the writing video to see what we're focusing on during writing today. Have fun, kindergarten.